Hello, Chicago Sports Tracks. This is Tom here at PC's World of Wonders, letting you see everything I offer. You know, if you want to get your own personalized products, or if you want to get some hats for your team, you want to get jerseys, maybe even a hoodie, purse for your wife, cards and dice set, trailer hitch cover, championship flag. I even have car mats, seatbelt pads, headrests, license plates, guard flags, dice, headrests. You know, I have it all. And even have championship rings, or even sets, NBA jerseys. Down here's a lot of the main jerseys I have. I even have Bears jerseys. And it's all right here. PC's World of Wonders.com. If I don't have it, let me know. I can add it. But your members get 10% discount.
Hi, good morning. Tina here, and I'm super excited to share a little bit about my drink and how it's impacted my life in the most beautiful way. When I first was introduced to this product, it was off somebody on Facebook who was super happy. I was anything but happy. I was angry. I was impatient with my son. I was taking naps all the time, incredibly inflamed, and no doctors could figure out what was wrong with me, and so they would prescribe me drugs. I am more on the natural side, so that's why I thought, let's give this a try. I've tried everything else. This has to be it. And I will tell you, it is it and more. It is something I have never even imagined in my life would make this big of an impact. When your mood is on tack, when your energy, when you're focused, when you're not inflamed, when your muscle preservation is good, you want to do so many things you've never done before. And I want to share it with you because I believe you have the ability to impact your life even just a little bit, just a little shift. And through that shift, you can make changes and live the life that you want. And we're not meant to live mediocre. So let me help you because I've been through it. Let me bring you on your own journey. Let's go.
Let's go. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Trax. We're here with you on Chicago Sports Tracks right now with a very amazing edition. We've got some of the greatest Bears to ever walk Hallis Hall. We have Kellen Davis, Jason McKee, and in a few minutes, we will have Qasim Mitchell, and I'm here to talk to you guys right now, first and foremost. A little nervous about having Jason on. I've seen some things about him being on the mat, and even though his hands might be registered as lethal weapons, I checked out. He's safe, okay, guys? Don't worry. You're going to be fine, okay? So just stay with me. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, man. Good.
Doing good, man.
There we go.
There's Q.
There's our boy Qasim. What's up, Q?
Q.
Shoot, my bad. My mic was muted.
Oh, okay.
All good.
Look, I'm on the move. I'm hiding from my kids, so I got a lot of stuff going on right
Right.
You never know where Q's going to be at, man. Last time we had him, he was hiding in his daughter's room because he said it was the quietest place in the house.
Yeah. I bet.
So, guys, I just want to ask you each and individually, first and foremost, what was it like playing with each other? I've got a good little background. I talked to Jason for a little bit. Sounded like you guys were really close, man. Real close in the locker room and stuff. Great camaraderie, what have you. Walk us through what it was like. Kellen, we'll start off with you. You know, when did you first realize that you had a shot at playing at the sports that we all hold near and dear to our heart, man? When did it come to you, man?
I mean, I think it's different for everybody, but for me, it was kind of once we got into training camp, got the pads on, I figured out that, you know, I can hang, and, you know, there was no turning back for me after that. So that was a good first week for me. So that was it, you know, that first week of training camp.
That was a wrap. You knew you had it, right? It was a bag.
Thought I had it, yeah.
How tall are you?
6'6".
6'6". And at the time in the NFL, how much did you weigh?
I was about 260, 265.
You were a cheat code, bro. Oh my God. Whoa. Give the ball. Hey, I just got to ask you real quick. I've been dying because I'm 6'6", and then undisclosed weight if you want to ask me. It's okay. I'm working on it. I'm tightening it up, okay? But here's the deal. Okay, so hypothetically speaking, Kellen, if I throw you the ball, I can't throw the ball. Let's say quarterback throws you the ball. Okay, boom, you catch it. You fall forward at 6'6" with even just a little bit of inertia, a little bit of energy. I mean, we're talking 5 yards every time, right?
Yeah. I mean, so I'm 6'6", so that give me a couple yards automatically.
Okay, all
There you
right.
go.
So that's, I mean, just give it to you almost every time. Well, that's a wrap. Jason up the middle when it's short, right behind Qasim. We're good to go, right?
Yes, sir.
What about you, Q? When did you realize that you had it in the bag, that you knew that you were gonna play the game that we all love?
Man, it really wasn't even up to me. I mean, it came about when I was in the 7th grade when I walked through the hallway and the coach was like, "Yeah, you need to come to practice." Like I hadn't even played up until then because I was too big to play Pee Wee. Back then, they didn't let you play up. Like you're a reliever, you need to be like this height, this weight, and whatever. And I like crushed all of them. So it was pretty much in the DNA.
Yeah,
There you go.
you can't run away from your DNA, bro. Hey, so time, do you remember what your height was?
Oh man, my first physical in the 7th grade, I was 6'3", 267.
6'3". Wow. 267, bro. Wow. That's awesome. Holy moly. What about you, J-Mac?
Man, I wanted to play football ever since I was like 6 years old. So, I mean, where I'm from, if you didn't play football, you was kind of weird. But it was a passion of mine anyway. So, I had aspirations and dreams of playing, professionally since I was 6, and I was the type of person that was going to do whatever it took to get there, just like Kellen and Q. So, a lot of things that we had to sacrifice and make sacrifices to achieve our goal, and for us, we were always able to do that.
Wow. Okay. So, are you guys still like around the sport? Do you guys do anything as far as I know J-Mac touched a little bit earlier. He coaches right now, head coach. Do you guys do anything else as far as football?
I'm coaching one of my buddies' sons in flag football.
Okay.
Not really, still not really sure how I got roped into it, but
Buddy, man.
Kellen, was it one of those, hey, can you just help me out this one time? And then
yeah, pretty much how it went.
Man. Oh yeah, I coach. Since I retired, I've been coaching mostly high school in North Carolina, and out here at Washington, I coached at Bellevue for a little bit, and then now I'm coaching indoor arena football. So it's a little different, but stay around again. It's still the same thing because it's like guys just kind of like coming out of high school. You can help them and mold them and get them to where they want to be. So same thing with these guys. Like we had Blake Sims, we had Alabama dudes, we had all these guys come out of college, and for whatever reason they might have fizzled out or whatever. And you might be able to share something with them, just to get them over the hump to the next level.
Is that really the next step that you guys look at? When you're done in the NFL, is to be like a mentor type to help people, bring them along and whatnot, and be a coach and pay it forward type thing. Is that what you guys feel like that was near and dear to your heart? At some point.
Yeah, for me, like whenever I get to go back up to Michigan State, I think it's like really important for the old heads to come back and share advice and talk to the team and talk to your position groups and all that stuff. Because I wish I had more information coming into the league than I did, but back then a lot of guys didn't really come back around. So you don't get the firsthand real ins and outs of the league, and that kind of player to player advice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like Kellen said, I think I was put in a situation, the first team that I went to had a lot of older guys that was willing to share knowledge and to, help tell you the ins and outs of what being a pro is, so that way you can have longevity playing in the league. And it's not like that for every team. You know, I've heard of guys go to different teams and to where some of the older guys, the veterans, they won't share information with a rookie because they're afraid that rookie's going to take their job. So, and I was blessed to be in a situation where, you know, the vets, they were secure, you know, amongst themselves, and all they want to do was pass along knowledge and help me out, you know, help myself out and the other rookies out. So, you know, now even, you know, when I was a veteran, that's what I tried to do. I tried to, you know, pay it forward to the young rookies that came in. But even now, paying it forward to high school kids, and not just through football, but just in life. Anything I can give them, any experiences that I've gone through, I try to pass that along.
That's awesome. Now I know Q, you got a superstar. Where is he at? Is he back there somewhere?
No, matter of fact, he was just in there screaming. I think he playing Madden. His favorite player is Jamar Chase. So all I hear is, "Oh, Chase!" So that's why I came outside. Like he's in there screaming, doing something crazy.
He just running them go routes here
all day. And look, and then he think he's nice because he put it on rookie. So he's like, oh man, he had like 500 yards receiving. I'm like, bro, you put it on rookie.
8-minute quarters.
Oh man,
Kellen, you got a couple kids too, correct?
I got 3, 6, 4, and 2. I'm busy, bro.
That's yeah, you sound very busy.
You done grew up for real, man.
The kids will do it to you, bro. I got 2 gray hairs up in here
Look,
now.
I'm trying to tell you, them grades that pop out on you.
I'm trying to tell you, man, they make you grow up for real.
I got a 6-year-old and a 17-year-old, and yeah, I feel for you guys, man. It's a blessing, oh man. It's so cool. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I live vicariously through them. My daughter played softball. I was never good at baseball at all. And my son is into like this ninja class and karate class, and I can't fit into a gi right now. I don't even know if they make it. Maybe like bed sheet, and you know, but I don't know. So, anyways, J-Mac, you were talking a little earlier about you're still staying in shape. You're doing stuff on mats and stuff, and doing a little bit of MMA stuff and sparring and whatever. Is there anything that you guys picked up after you got out of the NFL, like a hobby or something? Or would you say it's mostly just the family and whatnot and helping out wherever you can, you know?
I mean, for me, I got back into doing some other sports. Like I started mountain biking again. That was fun. And started hooping and playing basketball again, which is, you know, something I didn't do for a long time. So that was pretty cool. And then, but I got 3 kids, bro. You know,
right.
Me time's about this big, so I try to get it in when I can. You know, I still shoot guns, you know, pretty avidly. And but yeah, that's about it for me.
You can you dunk still, or?
Oh yeah.
Dang, man.
You know, Kellen can dunk.
Difficult, okay?
I mean, I would say he's 6'6". He should be able to dunk, man.
Man, hey, bro. Hey, real talk. But that's gonna be a sad day when I get old enough that that back and them knees won't work no more. And I can't get up.
Hey, look,
I'm about one out of every 4 at 6'3" and 48 years old. I can still dunk. So if I can dunk 1 out of 3 or 4, I know Kellen dunking 5 out of 5. So he good.
I'm gonna go up like I'm a dunk.
Finger roll all day for me sometimes.
I'll tap the glass. You know, I probably could dunk it, but I'm worried about my knees when I land. So,
right.
Like going up ain't the problem. It's coming back down.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
A little better about myself.
Man.
So, hey, real quick, guys. When was the last time all 3 of y'all were together?
Oh man.
Woo. I mean, when we're, you know, for me, back when we were in Chi-Town still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the league, man. It's like it's tough to keep up with everybody because not only do you have guys that go to other teams, but then everybody lives, you know, all across the country and everybody's spread out, you know, wherever they settle.
Yeah.
Now, when I was talking to J-Mac earlier, he told me a really cool story about how you guys came through together and all that. And it's really cool to hear the backstory of you guys, you know, and whatnot. And Qasim said you guys were a tight bunch. So I'm just blessed to have y'all on our show at the same time, man. Thanks for taking time out and getting on here. This is super cool.
Absolutely.
We got a lot of people out there
me,
that
man.
are putting
Thanks for having
stuff down. They're really excited to have you guys on. T-Nick, you guys have been on his show before. Yeah. He's really excited to have you guys on and whatnot. And there's a lot of people on here and whatnot. So, but let's go ahead and get into a couple Bears questions. You know that was going to happen. How do you guys feel about this year, man? What do you see, you know, the pros and the cons, and what do you see we could do better? What do you see that we potentially are doing better than you thought? Kellen, let's start with you. Let's go over to the tight end position where you specialize in. What do you see going on over there, brother?
I mean, not a whole lot. We were talking on Terrence's show about it last week. You know, dude came up and said that, you know, they had Komet in there blocking 75% of the time. So, you know, as a tight end, that's no bueno. That's never what you want.
Right.
You know, like, not even a chance to run a route. But yeah, so it's tough, especially in the pass game for them, because we're not throwing many passes and not completing much. So there's not a lot of balls to go around for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it real tough. So, you know, I feel for them in that respect, and, you know, hope that they just get some more opportunities. Because you work hard for them opportunities.
Right.
Kellen, real quick, what would you say? I know they didn't have like the percentages like they do now, like everything there's a number, right? But if you could like try to maybe you already know the number. What was the percentage of times that you were asked to block?
I would say probably somewhere around like 15-20%. You know, but
15-20%. You did your job, bro.
That depends. You know, that depends on the week. You know, sometimes it depends. You know, like it depends on who's on that end spot, really.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If somebody needs help, you know, you're gonna have a tight end chipping or staying in, or have a back chipping, or have J-Mac.
Yeah.
You know, like you got some dangerous dudes out there. You don't want to get into the quarterback, so sometimes you gotta stay in.
Yeah.
Now, is that a knock on Cole Kmet? I mean, do you see skill there, or is this?
I think he's got some skill for sure. I think that's more so a distrust with the O-line than it is for him, you know, personally.
Right.
Okay.
Because if you're locking down max protection on 75% of your plays, yeah, it's not a good look.
Okay. So, and this is just to keep our quarterback upright, right? This isn't even just to get the play to advance. This is just about sure protection, right? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to think about it. It's like, so if you're not releasing your tight end, you got one less receiver on the field. So your route tree is very limited.
Right.
Gotcha. Now, J-Mac, what do you how would you touch on that at the fullback position? I know we signed a fullback. He looked good, advertised, coming from Tennessee, I believe. Good speed, good hands. Potentially did some stuff at the running back position. Also on the line, goal line, whatever. What do you see as far as him? Have you seen him out there? Have you seen him do anything, or do you think we could probably use him more? What are you seeing out there, brother?
Yeah, I mean, he's out there. The offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, he does a lot of things in terms of mixing up formations and personnel. And you'll see him out there mainly when they're running like outside zone. That's like their bread and butter right now. They run a lot of outside zone, and he's out there. But I think they should use him more, in pass protection, like Kellen was saying. If you got, your tackles are struggling right now. You got a rookie tackle with Braxton Jones, and he's struggling. Then on the other side, you got Larry Borum, a second-year guy. So you want to do what you can to have a tight end stand and chip and get out later, or have that fullback in there to help protect. Because as we see right now, I mean, Justin Fields, he doesn't have time. And when he does have time, he's worried that he doesn't have time, and he tries to scramble when he doesn't need to. or he's seeing ghosts, and he's missing wide open receivers because he feels like he's going to get hit. So I think they got to, come up with a way to utilize, that fullback more or that tight end, like Kellen was saying, to help stand in protect, because who cares about how many guys you got in the route? It all starts with protection first. You can call any route concept you want, but you ain't going to get it off if the protection ain't shored up. So I think that's what they're struggling with right now, and that's something we've seen with the Bears in the past, especially with the old coach here, Matt Nagy. He wanted to have, all these guys and all these exotic route concepts, but never thought about the protection first. So that quarterback was always on his back, and that's what we're seeing with Fields right now. He's back there, running for his life, and and then when he does have a clean pocket, he's scared to pull the trigger because he's expecting to get hit or sacked.
J-Mac, do you believe the Bears passing playbook, does it need a complete overhaul or just better execution to allow Justin, to have some success, get time to throw, and, really showcase, his strengths as a quarterback?
I mean, the overhaul has already happened with the new coordinator, so I ain't going to say they need an overhaul. I just think that, they need to shore up the protection, whatever it is. I mean, because when you go out there and, here in Chicago, a lot of people are complaining about, this guy isn't blocking his man, but nobody knows what their protection scheme is. So we can say, all right, that's his man, but we don't know because we're not in the meetings. But, what I do see is, you don't who's making the mic point. You don't see anybody doing that. You don't see Justin Fields doing that. You don't see the center doing that. So, making the mic point sets the protection. So it sets protection in terms of it lets everybody know where the base of the defense starts, and it trickles down to where everybody knows what their responsibility is, and you don't have nobody doing that. So it's just little things I think they need to clean up, especially with a young quarterback like Fields. I mean, he still doesn't know, and they don't really have a veteran on that team to help make everybody right, help make everybody better, to be a multiplier, to elevate the game of everybody else. And, right now, Fields can't be that guy because he's still unsure of himself. He's in a new scheme as well. So, I look at it like this. It's a red shirt year. I call it a red shirt year, in college. These guys are young. They need to be developed. And some of the veteran guys they do have on that roster, they were castaways from other teams, and they're looking for another opportunity here. So they got to prove themselves too. So it's a red shirt here for the Bears.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a quick question, guys. Do you feel that potentially that the tight end and the fullback could be, and I don't really want to call out anybody in particular, so we're just talking about positions, okay? Do you feel like the tight end and the fullback could potentially be some offensive key pieces that can take away some of the wide receivers we might be putting out there? They might have a better skill set for us to move the ball further down the field than if we just put our wide receivers out there. Is that a possibility that we could actually look better out there, or what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, just look at the 49ers. You got Kittle and Juszczyk. I mean, Juszczyk had, a couple of catches over 20 yards, in their last game. And, Kittle's going to come up with some big plays. So, schematically, it makes, if you got a fullback that can get out and run decent routes, that's another piece that the defense has to look for.
Exactly. I mean, when you look at the fullback, and you look at the tight end position, like Kellen and J-Mac, I mean, that's the safety blanket. You know what I mean? Like that can help Justin. That can help build that confidence. Those little short routes, little dump off passes, just to get the rhythm. Because J-Mac, you put it perfectly. I think a lot of it right now is maybe more the mental part. You know what I mean? That's maybe going through Justin's head than the physical part of it. So I think it's a big combination, but got to institute something where they're just able to get them some confidence, some rhythm, and then just keep building as the game goes on. I think that's going to serve them probably the best right now.
Q, where do you see issues are out on the line? What are our strengths, Q? Who do you like, and where do you think we need help at?
I mean, overall, I think I like the line. I feel like they're young, they got a lot of potential, and I think with time and playing and working together, they'll come together and it'll be a beautiful thing. I think offensively, we need to kind of play to that, like, do a lot more with the tight end and the fullback, a lot more play action, just the stuff to get us moving and get the thing rolling so the tight end can slip out or the fullback can slip out and Fields can get comfortable, hit a couple early and then just get in the rhythm. And then that builds his confidence, and then he's a whole different guy. So I just
Okay.
like J-Mac
Exactly.
said with the red shirt year, it's more
Mhm.
everybody is learning everybody, and like I mean, what are we like week 4 or 5, and it's still early in the season. So I mean, it takes a lot of time for them to really get into the groove and trust each other around all 5 of them, and then once it gets rolling, I think it's gonna be amazing. But I mean, it's just like the learning curve right now. But I think they got a good young, strong running nucleus, and you can play a
Mhm.
lot off of that.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a good job in the run game.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
mean, what this week was like the lowest total they've had, and they still rushed for like 150 yards. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely,
the
Kellen.
run game is moving. It's
Yeah,
just
they
the
ranked
pass
third in the
protection needs to get shored up.
yeah, like you're saying, Kellen, they ranked third in the league at averaging 177 yards per game. That's even after Sunday.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, the funny thing is too when you have such a good run game like they've had, it's weird when you look at those stats and you read that stat off, and there's no passing game off of it, no play action game off
Right.
of it,
Mm-hmm.
no consistent boot game off of that. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that's the weird thing. That's the frustrating thing that doesn't really make sense. If you have, that such a dominating run game, you don't have a passing game that plays off of that run game. So I think that's one of the things that they've been trying to figure out, and they haven't been able to do it because the protection has been, up and down. It's like, they've been out of sync. So when the line does do well in pass protection, Fields misses the throw, or he misses the receiver, or the receiver drops the ball. And when, the line doesn't do a good job in pass protection, Fields getting ready to make the throw, and the receiver, has a chance to make a catch because he ran a good route, but Fields can't get the ball off because he's getting hit. So it's just,
Mhm.
in the passing game, nothing's in sync right now.
Yeah, Q, I got a question to ask you, man.
All right.
I'm struggling with this, bro, but this is my love language because I played offensive line too. What
All
is
right.
like? They talk about this that Fields holds on to the ball longer than anybody or top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, but in the same breath, they're trying to tell us that he has no protection, he has no time. How can two things be the same? Can true? In I don't understand that. Like at some point, isn't there some sort of protection for him to hold on to be one of the quarterbacks to hold on to the ball? The longest in the NFL. I mean, what is that? I don't understand that.
Hey, look, when you figure out, let me know. The O line is always the scapegoat. Like J-Mac will remember back in our day, I think we gave up. I think I said the story. We gave up like 28 sacks in the season. They were like, "Oh man, they dog shit." Olin was about to punch me in the face on the sideline and all this other stuff. But nowadays, shit, I think the Bengals then gave up damn near 28 in the first 3 games.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
It was a different day and age back then.
There you go.
Boy. I wonder if Burrow's even going to make it through the season, Qasim, These old Pete's. So do you guys think that potentially we might not have our best offensive player on our team right now? Is there a possibility that we could pick one up out of the free agency or before the trade deadline? Do you see something like that happen, or are we just going to go ahead and hold off and pump the brakes and wait till next year? What do you guys think?
I mean, that depends. What kind of cap space do they have? Anybody know?
What Terrence looking at? I think over 100 million next year.
Yeah, well, next year. Next year we're really good.
This year,
Next year, right now, I'm not sure exactly where we're at.
Where they're at.
Currently, I thought like around 20 mil.
Yeah, I thought I heard that too. Tracks kind of around there.
That's about right. That's probably about right.
Yeah, well, they got some room to make some moves.
Yeah,
I mean, it depends. But then it's like you plug a new guy in, it's like, okay, when is he really going to be up to speed?
What about that Harry guy from why is there such a big? I mean, I remember back in the day. Hey, no disrespect for the Bears, okay, but it just comes off really quickly. Hines Ward, one of the best blockers as a wide receiver, NFL, well known for that, right? So why is it such a big? They're highlighting this guy to be such a great pass blocker when right now it just feels like we need more of the catching. What do you think that this guy can possess to really help us? Is it something, J-Mac, you were talking earlier about that outside? I think it was J-Mac. You were talking about that outside zone running or something like that. Do you think that could help out on the outside running or something?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a receiver that can block and that's willing to block, I mean, that's what springs long runs like.
Mhm.
You know, the receivers blocking downfield. But you know, it's a catch-22 because you're like, if you're talking about a receiver and the only thing you're talking about it is run blocking, well, like, well, damn, you know, we need a receiver that's going to go out there and
Right.
give us 100 yards a game or close to it, or somebody that can go out there that Fields knows when his number's called, he can go to that guy. You know, the blocking, yeah, that's a plus. But when you're a receiver, you want to be talked about because you can catch the ball or you have the ability to win one-on-one matchups. So I think the reason why he's here is because he didn't do that when he was in New England. He was a high draft pick, and he didn't do that consistently.
Yeah.
I know he's a big guy, has all the tools. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, but the consistency was lacking, and that's why the Bears got him here. So hopefully he's another one of those guys that Ryan Poles brought in. That's a guy who's getting a second chance to revitalize a career or to jumpstart his career. And, you know, hopefully he can get out there and help us because, you know, this is a point in time in which we really need one of those guys in that receiver room to step up. And that's what Poles, I think, was banking on in the offseason. With the limited amount of money and cap space they had to try to get as many guys as they could in that receivers room and to give them an opportunity to make a name for themselves and to step up and help the passing game.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Now, Kellen, what do you think about? Do you think that potentially next year that we would be looking at like a tight end or something, or what do you think we would be picking up in the draft? Let's say, not saying we're going to dog off the season and get the very first pick in the NFL draft, even though it feels like we're heading in that direction, but it could go better. You know, I still said we were going to have, and these two guys that are here with me right now, that they know how crazy I think. No, I was talking 10, 11 wins, you know, and everybody else was like, you're crazy. But do you think that we would be going after a tight end, a receiver, or an offensive lineman, or would it even be from the offensive side of the ball? What do you think is going to happen, Kellen?
Personally, me, you know, I would be targeting O-line and receiver. I mean, you need some. I mean, if you're worried about your protection, you bring in some veterans that, you know, some higher paid guys, or you know, you draft somebody high that can do the job. But yeah, it's I mean, it's kind of like J-Mac was saying earlier. You know, it's like everything starts up front, D-line and O-line. Like that's how you win games. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If your O-line and your D-line can't do their job or aren't doing a good enough job at the time, it's going to be a long game and a long season. So, you know, your front four and your front five have got to do, you know, the thing. And so everything else to me, you know, from a football standpoint, I think everything else is secondary because it's just like, you know, if you can't protect and your quarterback can't get the ball out, it don't matter who's out there running routes. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Ball anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And I also heard on Chicago Clubhouse podcast when you were on last week, Kellen, with Rashid, he was saying something to the fact that you could correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to misquote him, but something to the fact where he said that as third string receivers, you can actually out scheme a defense using third string receivers per se. So that might dovetail in with what you're talking about in making sure you shore up that offensive line, correct? Before you go get that receiver.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, watching the games, I think it's, you know, execution, but it's also like kind of like a top-down thing where I feel like the offense doesn't really have an identity. Like they don't really know what they want to be. You know, it's like we got the thing that's sustaining them right now is that they're good in the run game, which is huge, you know, in the league as far as success goes. But, you know, where are they in the pass game? You know, what are they trying to do? You know, you're talking about how, you know, Fields holds the ball for the longest. Well, I mean, that at least tells me that he is waiting for deeper routes to develop, you know, for sure. And Like, why aren't we wanting more quick game, to get him in rhythm and get the ball out of his
Right.
hands, especially if we're having protection issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think there's a lot schematically that could change to help him and help the offense run more efficiently,
What about you? Where would your pick be at?
Man, I'd look for like an explosive receiver or something, just to get some big play capabilities. That's what I'm thinking. Like I said, I understand the whole, being a lineman. I understand the whole line bit, but I feel like if you're good enough to be top end league in rushing, then you, as coordinators and like Kellen was saying, hires up, you should be able to play off of that and pretty much play to your strengths. Like Philadelphia does it with Jalen Hurts. Like get them moving around. Just play to what you know that you're good at right now, and then build from there. Instead of saying, well, this is my playbook. We're gonna run the ball, and then I'm gonna drop back eight yards and heave it deep and hope he has 45 seconds to throw it.
Now, Q, you played guard too, correct?
Yeah.
So you had quicker feet, obviously, all world athlete. But the guards usually have, for me, I've noticed the guards usually have quicker feet, lateral, left, whatever. So let me ask this: with that in mind, where do you think that puts us as far as the guards and tackles and whatever? Do you think that we have it at the guard position on lock, the tackles, whatever? This 10 can see that to guard.
Oh, we're breaking up a little bit. Can you hear me?
Breaking up a little bit, the tracks.
Yeah,
we're breaking up.
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
Oh,
I think it's tracks.
Yeah.
Cool. We good. I mean, I think we got the potential at each spot. It just got to get fine tuned. Like I said, I think while it's crazy to say it's early on, I mean, as far as like the gel and the coming together of the line and stuff, I mean, you've only had a couple games where you're working together with the same crew that you used to.
Right.
And I think like mid-season and on, I think they're going to hopefully find their identity and then be able to be a lot more successful and play off of there. Like right now, I feel like both the other guys said, they're just kind of throwing pennies in a barrel and see what works.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think right now, and I think that's perfectly said, Q. I think it's looking at, building that consistency. And that's really the biggest thing right now because, these guys, even you go to, training camp, they weren't even all practicing as one unit in training camp, for the majority, all 5 across the line. So now, like you said, fast forward, we're going into week 5. We're not even at the halfway point with these guys all playing together. So, I mean, I know, Kellen, J-Mac, Q, I mean, I know y'all can all, attest to this is that when you get that consistency, there's nothing like consistency. I mean, no matter what you bring in, you can bring an all-star talent into the mix, but if they ain't play together, if y'all ain't played with the quarterback and, Q, if you ain't played with the, the left tackle, the right tackle, whoever, the center, all of that's going to change. You know what I mean? Right? Like that's going to change the dynamic of the game at that point and the way y'all play. But when you build that consistency,
yeah, like they say, like in most cases, a great team's going to beat a bunch of great players.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And now, fellas, J-Mac, you said it best. I mean, this is a redshirt year for Justin. We haven't invested with the pieces for us to be competitive on a week in and week out basis this year. For Bears fans, particularly the long-suffering, what are realistic expectations? I mean, what would be a successful year, as we building blocks here? I mean, I know we're all going to get frustrated, if we lose to the Vikings on Sunday or if we get swept again by the Packers. But realistically, what would be successful for this team this year? Would it be just making those small steps each week to be a potential playoff team in 2023 or?
Yeah, in my opinion, it's just, for the main thing, it's development of players. You got Tevin Jenkins to see him develop, week in and week out. He had a shortened rookie season because of the injury. Larry Borum, seeing him develop and build off of the good rookie season he had last year. Cole Kmet, it's not a redshirt year for him because he's been here, but, they need to see whether or not this guy can be the future at tight end, like they envisioned him to be when they drafted him. You look at guys like Justin Fields, for instance, like it's a retro year for this Bears team, but I'm not going to say it is for him because now they need to see him take some steps in terms of developing to see if he can be the franchise quarterback that they moved up in the draft to go get to be. So those are a lot of the questions that need to be answered, and those are some of the pieces that us as Bears fans can look at and say, hey, well, if you see Justin starting to see the defense better, executing the passing game better, elevating the play of his teammates, things that a franchise quarterback should be doing. If we see that development, well, then, yeah, it gives us something to build upon, especially with the young offensive line. If you see those guys, starting to understand pass protection, executing at a high level, picking up those blitzes, continuing to maul guys in the running game. Those are all things that we can build upon, especially with having a huge, a lot of cap space next year, in which we can bring in a lot more talent, along with having another draft under a new GM who's motivated to turn this thing around. I think those are some of the things that we need to see week in and week out as Bears fans to feel good about ourselves going into the next season and to help set up this rebuild or this turnaround that they're trying to do over there.
Yeah, and Kellen, you won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks, and I go back to that great Seahawks team that you were on. It seems like that that was a team that was the result of a team doing that for 3-4 years. Putting together a roster, developing players in their systems. Establishing their identity. As a runner and play action team. When you were if I could take you back to that tremendous 2013 Seahawks team, did you really have a sense there that everything was coming together, that this was a cohesive team that was going to the next level?
I mean, I think I've had the benefit of being on some really good teams, and I think the veteran presence is huge. Like you can't replace experience. Like I look at Fields right now, and I think he's young and he's seeing a lot of stuff for the first time in a brand new offense, and it's like that gel just hasn't happened for him yet because he just hasn't seen it. Like once you're 3-4 years in, you've seen a lot, and you're the guy now. You're that guy that's pointing things out that you can see the blitz coming. You know what's going to happen. You can change the point, do all those things, and I think it's kind of like, you want to compare yourself to like more veteran teams, but like you said, I think that those teams are, built over years. Yeah. Not a whole lot of years because everybody don't play for that long, but I think it takes, 2 to 3 years to really be a contender or, somebody's perennial. And I think that's a big part of it is the quarterback position. But then it's like, take Aaron Rodgers, for example. Like Aaron Rodgers is that guy. He's making every call. He's pointing everything out. He's changing plays. He's doing all that. But Aaron Rodgers sat and watched Brett Favre for 3 to 4 years before he even touched the field. Yeah. And it's like you got Josh Allen. He's balling out. He was not good his first 3 years. He was, we wasn't touting. Nobody was touting him in his first couple of years, saying, "Oh, he's good." But now he's on the MVP watch list. So it's like you got to give a young quarterback, especially when they have talent. It'd be different if I felt like we were talking about a guy who was just a guy. Yeah. Right. But feel, as far as him, personally with the athleticism and the arm and all that stuff, it's all there. So I think mentally he's probably thinking too much, and that's getting away of his, ability to produce. Like you don't want to be a quarterback to line, still processing as you're trying to find a receiver.
Exactly.
Yeah, I look at it too, Kellen, when I played on offensive line and I was getting my ass handed to me all the time, I was just like self-preservation mode, And so how am I going to orchestrate people? Like when I heard Qasim and Stephen Edwards talk about Olin seemed to be that guy that would orchestrate, tell you to slide this way, do this, do that, whatever. He was the guy in the middle that was just kind of orchestrating everything, if you will, and put people in the right positions. How could you, as a field general, the quarterback, be able to do that and make our receivers better, make offensive line better, and all those sort of things when you're getting your ass handed to you all freaking, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just can't be that guy yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about Aaron Rodgers. I mean, could Justin Fields be that guy later on down, the road? Quite possibly, but at the same point in time, I think Justin Fields is also used to Ohio State, where I take my best 5 and you take your best 5, and Ohio State's going to beat you hands down every time. You know what I mean? For the most part, almost all the time, So, I kind of look at it that way, like right now he's just in self-preservation mode. So when we see him take it to that next level and he's got time and stuff and the receivers get their, get open and whatnot, I think it's going to be really special. At least I hope so, J-Mac, really quick, man, since you said you played defense, I want to ask you a quick question about the defense that we got here on the Bears. What are you seeing? What do you like as far as the safety, the cornerback? Do you still think that, or do you think that those were good draft picks that we got? What do you see about our defense that you like, some things about our defense that you don't like?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like that they're having trouble stopping the run, but I mean, they ran into some really good teams, some really good players. I mean, last week you run into a Saquon Barkley who's finally healthy and extra motivated to be the same player that he was before he got hurt. I like the young guys on the back end. I like Kyler Gordon. I like Jaquan Brisker. I think they flashed a lot of ability, is the reason why they were drafted high. But they like Kyler Gordon when the Bears played Green Bay. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was able to pick on him, but at the same time, for a young guy to learn, he's got to be out there. For him to get better, he has to make mistakes. So, and there's still veteran guys that make mistakes against Aaron Rodgers all the time. He's just that type of player. So, they're going to continue to grow and get better with the more snaps that they play. And I think those guys will be, pillars of this defense for a long time. I like the way Roquan's been playing. We look at it I think it was the first week everybody was saying that, Roquan's not the same, but he came back the following week and had a great game and pretty much won the game for him against the Texans. But he's a guy who missed all of training camp, who wasn't out there getting back into playing shape, hitting guys for the first time, getting your body acclimated into game shape. He's going to be a guy he's extra motivated to get a new contract done. So, and that's something that the Bears have to address in the offseason. But, I think our defensive line has been pretty disappointing. I think, Robert Quinn is he's had to face Trent Williams, and then against the Texans, he had to face Laramie Tunsil, two of the better guys in the league. But on the other side, a guy that they brought in, I think it's I hate trying to pronounce his name, but I think it's Al-Qadim Muhammad, the other defensive. Like, if Robert Quinn's commanding all the attention on the D line, you're the other guy. You've got to do something. You've got to get home, especially in situations. You got to win that one-on-one matchup. We're expecting if Quinn's getting doubled, somebody else is free. So you got to make your presence known, and I think he's got to step his game up. So it's the same thing that he was a guy in Indy who, wasn't the main focus on that Colts defense. So you come here and there's a higher expectation for you to produce, and he's not used to being in that position. So he's going to have to develop throughout the season as well. If not, I mean, and at the end of the day, if we can't stop the run, defensively, it's going to be an even longer season for the Bears.
Yeah.
So that's what leads me into my next question about the Vikings. What do you guys think about this Vikings game? I'd like a prediction. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think we actually have a chance against them? And knowing that they can run, is that something that we're going to have problems with?
I think.
What's up, Q?
I feel like if we can get the ball first and get out and jump ahead and feel confident and just continue building confidence throughout the game, I think we'll be fine. And I also think at the same token, if we can stop the run, we'll be fine. I feel like J-Mac was saying, our D-line, I think, was built to rush the passer. I feel like stopping the run was kind of like an afterthought. Or unless they just wanted to put everything on Rowe and them, you never know. Because we're not in the building. But I just feel like there's, getting off topic. Back to Minnesota. I feel like we got a good chance. I mean, I'm always gonna say we have a chance, as long as as long as the wind blows in our favor.
What about you, Kellen?
I think that it's going to be a tough one because, like you said, Minnesota can run the ball. They have that ability, but they also have Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
And he's soft. So, the young kids on the back end, it's like the difference between a good player and a great player. Like everybody knows he's getting the ball, but they still aren't able to stop him. So,
right.
What is the plan going into that? Because you can't commit. You can't with him back there. You can't fully commit to stopping the run. You can't load the box up and then hope you can just take the top off the defense.
Yeah.
But I think offensively, I would lean heavy on the run game because that's been going well. So to tail off what Q said, it's like do what you do well, and do that really. I think like when we were playing, we had Lovie Smith coaching the defense. Our defense was not complicated. We ran Tampa 2 90% of the time, but they ran Tampa 2 the way you're supposed to run Tampa 2.
Right.
To execute it. And I think, a lot, like don't lean, and like really good players and really good teams, when they're playing together, they don't lean so much on the scheme.
Kellen, did that make you better as an offensive player? J-Mac too, and Qasim, obviously. When you guys were playing against your star-studded defense, did that make you guys, in practice and whatnot? Now, I know you can't play 100%. You're playing against your brother or whatever. But do you feel like that made you guys better on the offense side of the ball at all?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Okay.
No question about that.
Definitely.
You're playing against the best guys in the league. Yeah.
Especially our year. Like we had, like I said, we had Alex Brown, Wale Agunlie, Tommy Harris, and Tank. Like, so you're like
Tank Johnson. Yeah.
So you had to bring it because AB, y'all might know Alex. He's a great dude, but he talks shit in practice, and he picks it up every day. I'm just trying to tell you. He always jokes. You don't even before. I'm like, man, shut the fuck up. Gotta go in there and listen to Harry or Pete or whoever my old line coaches at the time. Like, hey, what happened here? And then you got Olin looking out the corner. It's all like, fuck.
Always bringing it real, baby.
Right.
You get it from somebody, right, Q?
Exactly. It's coming. Like, and the messed up part, as soon as you step wrong, you're like, okay, they're gonna get me a film. Like, here we go.
Do you guys feel like those special team plays are like the great special team plays, whatever, running it back, all that? Do you think that that's out of the league now, or I just don't see it like that much anymore? Like, what's going on with that, guys?
Yeah, not many Devin Hesters left.
Well, yeah, they got the Hester rule in place. So, they are.
Exactly.
It's
exactly,
like 90% of the kickoffs are touchbacks. You know what I mean? It's like guys are just dying to run it out, but it's not the same. At least from the from that standpoint.
Did you guys play any special teams? Any of you guys?
Oh yeah,
I was on PAT.
Well, I was on kickoff and kickoff return, my first couple of years. And, it was like, so me and Izzy was playing the ends on the kickoff return, and I loved it. I loved doing that because we had Devin Hester and Danielle Manning, back there running everything back. So I was like, I could be a part of a touchdown, just because like I know he could break out any given play. So it's like, it was an exciting thing to be a part of. It wasn't just like we were, just doing it because we had to.
Exactly.
What about you, J-Mac?
Yeah, my first couple years I played all 4 phases. And then as I got towards later in my career, I was just on like kickoff return and PAT and stuff like that. So like Kellen said, we had Devin back there and I was in the middle up back on the wedge, and I would just having him back there, you wouldn't even block. You just wanted to look back to see where he was going. He was so explosive. So, we just had we played at a time where there was a a real emphasis on special teams, and we had a lot of great special teams players. And there was a time to where, sometimes the only way you were going to make the team is on special teams. Now with all the rules in place now, I mean, the guys on special teams now, it's like they're just on the team, collecting a check because they're just running down on kickoff, not hitting nobody. It's not going to be a return. When we were playing, guys are trying to bring that thing out regardless of how deep the ball kicked in the end zone. They're going to bring it out. So it's just a different league now. It really is. It's totally different from when we were playing.
Kellen, is it illegal now to dunk the ball through the uprights?
Yeah, man, that's that Jimmy Graham rule, man. He ruined it for everybody. He
brought back the no fun.
Yeah, he was hanging on the goalpost, man. He bent it. End of it.
Yep.
I'm about to have that. Oh, that was man.
Terrence, you gonna be at the game?
What's Minnesota?
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna be in Minnesota. I'm still recouping from. I'm still recouping from MetLife. Yeah, no, I won't be there. I'll be watching it. I'll be watching in front of the television in Chicago this weekend.
Yeah.
That's the best place to watch it, man. That way, after the game, if you're mad, you ain't got to worry about traveling. Just turn to the next game and exactly. Every year. It's always next year.
Right.
It's always next year. Turn the channel.
That's it. And then afterwards, it's always like depending on win or lose. It's either I watch every episode of Sports Center and every other highlight show. I'm watching everything. They lose, I'm like, you know what? I'll tune in next Thursday. What's the Thursday night game?
To make it more painful, you rewatch the bad highlights.
Oh, I know. We got that passion though. We got that passion as fans though. It's all right. Be all right though.
Speaking of tuning in, Kellen and J-Mac, they got their own show together. Where can we tune in to get some more of you guys' content, man? You guys sound electric. Something definitely I want to listen in and check you guys out.
Who you talking? Me or Kellen? Who you want? You talking about?
Yeah,
me?
fun.
Yeah. So me and Olin, we have our own podcast. It's on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff.
Yep, the No Name Football Podcast, J-Mac.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't have a name for it, so when we started it, we did our first episode and we're sitting there and we're like, well, damn, what the hell are we gonna call it? Olin's like, well, shit, it's ours. We're gonna call it the No Name Podcast. I'm like, I ain't gonna argue with Olin, so I'm like, hey, whatever you want to call it, man.
Right, whatever you want.
Yeah. That's perfect.
That's awesome, man. I've got to check you guys out. That sounds great. I like listening to podcasts. One of my favorite podcasts I ever listened to way back in the day, what was actually before podcast, was radio with Mike Golick, man. And I love how he just brought it real, being the lineman that he was, and just the total opposite of Greenberg. It was really good. And he always did some jokes about, eating donuts and stuff. And, it was just cool, man. I listened like those guys were in the vehicle with me, so that's a good time, man. It was good. So, yeah, man. Hey, thanks for having us, for you guys being on the show. And you guys were such a blast. Hope we can do this again. Q, thanks for coming on again, brother.
Hey, anytime.
We appreciate it, Q.
Next time,
appreciate
your star.
J-Mac and Kellen. Appreciate you, brothers.
Thanks so much, guys.
No problem, man.
Yeah, anytime, man. It's good to see Kellen and Q, man. You guys are fathers now. It's crazy, man. It's good to see you guys, man. Love you guys, and miss all the good times we had, man. And you guys ever need anything, hit me up, man. Brothers for life, man. It's good to see you guys.
For sure. Same here, bro.
Yeah,
Same here.
That's what's up, man.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Bear
All
down.
right, y'all stay healthy, brothers.
Hey,
Be
good
good.
job, guys. Thanks so much.
Appreciate y'all. All right, fellas.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bear down, brother.
Thanks.
Bear down.